Geography Now, India. 7 years ago with 5.5 million views.
So, we have finally encroached upon the giant India. Some of you have been waiting a long time for this episode. I'm just gonna say straight up, you all know India is incredibly complex and diverse. Even Indians have trouble understanding their own country. Obviously, I won't be able to scratch even the surface in this episode, but I'll try my best. A lot of you Indian geography peeps have helped me along the way, so thank you, and without further ado, let's begin.
Tell me about it.
Geography now! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. This place doesn't even need much of an introduction. Everybody has heard of India. It's big, it's loud, it's colorful, and most importantly, it has a plethora of confusing territorial anomalies that I just can't wait to cover. Here we go. There's an old saying, India is a place where everyone is in a hurry, but no one is ever on time. First of all, India is located in South Asia, right on the Indian and Arabian Seas and the Bay of Bengal, bordered by 6 other countries, so close to 7, but that land bridge between Sri Lanka got wiped away like 600 years ago by a cyclone. India is divided into 29 states and 7 union territories, with the capital New Delhi, which acts as its own administrative unit, located in the capital territory. Keep in mind, New Delhi is actually just the name of one of the districts in the capital territory, made up of 11. The largest city, however, is actually Mumbai, with New Delhi, Bangalore or Bengaluru, and Hyderabad following after. However, the 4 busiest airports are Delhi Indira Gandhi International, Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji International, Bengaluru's Kempe Gowda International, and Chennai International in the south. You know why I'm smiling. This is my favorite part of any episode we ever make. Territorial anomaly time. India is loaded with strange borders and deliciously complex demarcation lines. First of all, what exactly is a union territory? In the simplest way I can put this, union territories are places that are too distinct to be incorporated into a state, but too small to have their own local governments. The first one, of course, is the Delhi National Capital Territory, where the capital lies. Chandigarh is a post-independent city constructed to replace Lahore as the capital of the Punjab area after it was split up between India and Pakistan. Then you have the island territories, the smallest one, Lakshadweep, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Andaman Islands being home to one of the last uncontested...
I think the only thing I know about like India potentially like contested territory, and I think we had watched a video about it, either on stream or I watched it on my own. It's with China, right? It's in some mountain region, I believe, that there's like been fight for a long time about who actually owns the territory. And I think it's a situation that's still going on to this day, I believe.
Impacted people groups on the planet, the Sentinelese tribe, whom have been hostile to visitors and are therefore left alone, as well as the Nicobar Islands, which actually used to be a short-lived colony of Denmark. Finally, the 3 remaining territories are former European colony towns and ports. Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, which are separated by about 200 kilometers across the Gulf of Khambat, and the most confusing union territory, the French-speaking Puducherry, which is actually split up between 4 district cities across India. Karikal, Mahe, Yanaon, and Pondicherry.
I had no idea. Okay.
Pondicherry is strange because it has 11 enclaves within the Tamil Nadu state. Oh, and in this area, you can also find the experimental hippie-ish commune with a little bit of controversy. Look it up. Oh, and don't forget, here, the eastern states, also known as the Seven Sisters, are connected by this incredibly narrow 27-kilometer wide pathway known as the Siliguri Corridor. This pathway is like a crucial artery that completes the India puzzle. Or so you would think. Now let's discuss the juicy stuff. Now, in the China episode, I already talked about the disputed areas with India, such as Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh.
That's probably what I was talking about, yeah.
To India, as it's almost completely inhabited and operated by Indians. So let's move to the other disputes. Now, as of 2015, the Bangladesh episode is already outdated, as India and Bangladesh have finally come to an agreement over the frighteningly complex former enclave-exclave dispute. In the end, India only lost about 40 square kilometers of land to Bangladesh, and now only a few enclaves and exclaves exist. Now let's head north. Now, when you try to draw the shape of India, you might want to be careful which depiction you use. Some might use this picture, some might use this, some might use this, and those that don't really study very well might use this. The point is, the whole area is like the most heavily militarized, diplomatically stressed out region on the planet. It's already had like 4 wars in the past half-century. Basically, India, Pakistan, and to some extent China all want the entire area for themselves, although it's more of like a Pakistan-India thing. In the China episode, we already discussed the Chinese disputes with India, so I won't cover those in this episode. If you want to learn more, just watch the China episode. But anyway, this entire area was a former domain known as the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir that was under royal Maharaja rulers all the way up until independence. Currently, this place is split up by this fenced-off militarized line known as the line of control between India and Pakistan. Why is this? Well, the quickest way I can put this...
Okay, the British are out. We get to take your land.
No, we want to be an independent princely state.
We're supposed to take your land, and majority of your people are Muslim, just like us, even though your ruler is Hindu as well.
Hey, India?
Okay.
If you help me, I'll let you secede my territory to your land with autonomy. Deal. Ha! Your problem
Well,
now. I love how Mike played
well.
India. He totally represents India. Oh, and keep in mind, Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, is less than 80 kilometers away from all that drama. The line of control meanders through the mountains until it stops at a point called NJ9842. This is where things get really crazy because from there you hit the Siachen Glacier, the second longest non-polar glacier in the world, and this is pretty much the dead man zone. After point NJ9842, you hit the actual ground position line, a series of military outposts that extend all the way to the Chinese border. That means
I see.
everything in this area is ground zero for the Indo-Pak tension. And you know, the crazy thing is there's actually literally small towns of normal regular civilians living in these areas high up in the mountains, many of which just go about daily life, going to work and raising their families. Otherwise, they
What
have a
you gonna
river
do, I
dispute
guess?
with Nepal and various river islands disputed with Bangladesh. Outside of all the dispute stuff though, India not only has the world's second largest road network and 3 of the world's top 10 megacities and their own space program, but they also have a copious abundance of landmarks and notable sites, way too many to list, but some of the ones that you guys, the Indian geography peeps, have told me to mention include places like the abandoned Danush Kodi Ghost City, Golconda Fort, the 4 pillars of Charminar, the Ajanta Buddhist art caves, the Ellora monolithic ruins, Mandu Fortress,
That is
the
cool.
Golden Temple, which feeds over
Whoa.
100,000 people a day, the Golgumbaz Mausoleum, the Kalavantin Durg Post, the ruins of Hampi, the hill forts of Rajasthan, Shatrunjaya Hill, which is based
Damn, that's some very good quality ruins. I mean, I don't know how old it is, but that looks all very preserved. Like, no idea how old it is. It might be more recent than Roman ruins or something, for example, right? But man, that is quite preserved.
basically like a mecca for Jains. The Temple of the Bodhi Tree, Jal Mahal, Banghat Fort, the most haunted place in India, Mahabat Maqbara, and keep in mind, just like
I'm interested about that
Jal
one.
Mahal, Banghat Fort, the most haunted place in India, Mahabat Maqbara, and keep in mind, just
Nice.
like in China, you can find a Great Wall of India in Rajsamand. There's also the Paritala
Oh.
Anjaneya Temple with the largest statue in India depicting Hanuman, and at over 150 acres, the Sri Rangan Attaswamy Temple,
Whoa.
the largest Hindu
It was
temple
crazy.
in the world. Oh yeah, and there's also that building with the stuff in the thing, whatever. Anyway, we could go on for
What could
centuries
it
talking
be?
about India's rich constructed domicile, but what it lies on top of is even more fascinating.
Physical geography.
Now, don't make this mistake.
I'm going to India. All I need are my sandals and sunscreen.
Now, as the 7th largest country in land area,
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, like, with how big it is, like, there must be some place with completely different temperature. No doubt about
India
that.
has a wide range of landscapes, climates, and elevations that all contrast from one corner to the other. First of all, let's talk about the north. India sits on the Indian tectonic plate that essentially smashed into the Eurasian plate, which in return created the largest mountain range in the world, the Himalayas. The force is so strong that it's estimated that the Himalayas grow about 2.4 inches or 6.1 centimeters every year. There's also where you can find
Wow.
Kanchenjunga, the tallest mountain in India, or the 3rd in the world, right on the border of Nepal. Keep your eye on these mountains. These are pretty much the source of most of India's major rivers that give life to the whole country. That's why India takes these mountains so seriously. You can also find the largest natural lake, Wular, up in the Jammu Kashmir area. Below the Himalayas, you reach the North Indian River Plains, sometimes referred to as the Indus Ganga. This is the most fertile part of India where the most important rivers like the Ganges and its tributaries flow. Heading a little south, you reach the Satpura and Vindhya ranges that pretty much divide North India from South India. On each side, you
Okay.
get the West and East Ghat Mountains, which in return creates this massive triangle thing called the Deccan Plateau. This place is moderately forested, especially in the east, in the Chotra Nagpur Plateau, where you get a section of the swampy Sundarbans that they share with Bangladesh. Check out the Bangladesh episode. Head a little west and you get the dry Thar Desert along the border with Pakistan, as well as the Rann of Kutch, known as the Salt Desert. And finally, the only active volcanic area would be the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, with Barren Island
That looks
having
very
actual
nice.
conical eruptions and Bharatan having tame mud volcanoes. Now here's the thing, although India has a relatively high population density, they do relatively well with maintaining their ecological footing. In fact, in 2016, they beat a world record by planting, disputably, 50 million trees in one day. They've also agreed to
Disputably.
reforest about
How'd you count
12%
that
of the
anyway?
country by 2030. The most heavily forested area being the 7 sister states in
That is interesting. I mean, yeah, we see, like, when you're a country with so many people, it's probably hard to not pollute, and, you know, it's kind of like well known, it's so far in the news that, you know, in India there's like definitely some problem with pollution that's pretty massive. But on the other hand, because you have so many people, it's also like probably way harder to fight back, right? Like if you're a smaller country, it's probably easier to be less polluting. But when you're a country like so freaking massive with, like, you know, so many people, I guess it's harder to actually, you know, deal with it. But on the other hand, I guess because you have so many people, you could also, like, you know, if everybody was educated and, you know, like told about, you know, yeah, plant a tree and try to pollute less, you could also potentially make it the, like, LCS place on Earth or something, if everybody was into the whole thing of, like, trying not to pollute, right? It's interesting to think about, yeah. It's interesting.
East India. Now, one of the factors that contributes to this would be the fact that India has the lowest meat consumption in the world, with the highest population percentage of vegetarians at around 40%, most of whom are lacto-vegetarians that consume milk products. By the way, in India, when buying groceries, this label means vegetarian and this one means not vegetarian. Nonetheless, the remainder of the population does typically eat some kind of animal protein, mostly in the forms of seafood or chicken, but almost never beef or pork, unless if you are part of the Muslim or Christian minorities scattered throughout the West and East areas. Now, let's talk about the role of cattle, shall we? India has more cattle and livestock than anywhere else in the world at around 330 million. And it's interesting because since they have prevalent Hindu traditions, the killing of cows is illegal in many of the states except for a few, and each state has varying degrees of punishment for committing intentional cow slaughter. Keyword intentional. Cows accidentally...
I don't have the context. Why are cows so, like, revered that you can't kill them and eat them? I don't really know much about Hinduism.
Get hit by cars all the time. Once a cow is too old to produce milk, it typically is released into the open to die naturally in the wild, ideally. Nonetheless, male cattle get it much worse, as they are deemed as kind of useless. Some places use them as draft animals for labor, some religious sects use them as sacrifices, but otherwise they are typically sold to the underground market for beef or hides. To this day, there are about 6 times as many female cows as male cattle in India, so that means, yeah, something's happening to the males. Nonetheless, India...
Wait, so he said you can't kill them, but then they still kill them for food? I guess it's different parts that are doing it, different parts of the country.
Does have the 3rd highest carbon emission rate after China and the US, 4th if you consider the EU. However, emission per capita, they rank pretty low at only about 2 kilotons per person. Contrast that with Qatar at about 40. There are 94 national parks, 501 animal sanctuaries across the country where you can find some of the national animals like the peacock, the Ganges River dolphin, the king cobra, the Indian elephant, where you can find some of the national animals like the peacock.
Peacock are so freaking awesome. I mean, look at these things. Like, you wouldn't think they're real with the insane amount of colors that they have.
The Ganges River dolphin, the king cobra, the Indian elephant, and the highest population of Bengal tigers in the world, which are all highly protected. India also has the most irrigated land in the world, which allows them to become the #1 producer of multiple products like millet, bananas, lemons, limes, which allows them to become the #1 producer of multiple products like millet.
What is this? Millet?
Bananas, lemons, limes, mangoes, ginger, chickpeas, milk, butter, fennel, jute, and about 75% of the world's spices alone come from India.
Yeah. In, like, I used to buy quite a bit of spice from, like, a local market. Like, when I used to live in the south of France in the countryside, there was, like, every Wednesday morning, there was, like, a traveling market that would come. And, you know, they would sell a bunch of stuff from clothes to different food and stuff like that. And I would often go buy spice from a pretty sure Indian like family, basically. And they had like this big stall, like maybe 4 meter by 2 meter, and they had like so many spice. And you know, I really like spice. Even though I tend to always use the same, like pepper and stuff like that, right? Once in a while I would go to their stall, and you know, it was just like so nice to look at all the colors, and everything smelled so strong, and I really like, you know, spicy stuff. So I would always say like, ma'am, please, what is the spiciest stuff that you have? And she would say this, and then I would take some of it, and usually I would use it with salad or something. But it was pretty damn good.
Which food? Typically you can find the staples roti, chapati, and naan in the north, idli and dosa in the south, and everybody eats rice.
Naan reminds me of that one clip from Nissanji, right? The legendary Naan incident, Takaraji Man and the cat. Yeah, if you remember that, you've seen it.
Commonly commercialized Indian foods that we in the West grew up knowing, like samosas, tikka masala, tandooris, and my favorite Indian dish, palak paneer. These usually come from the northern regions of India. Seriously, India, you took spinach and made it fat. I love you guys. Otherwise, the West is mostly known for their chutneys and pickled foods, as well as beef, since there's a high number of Muslims and Christians. The South uses a lot more coconut and has some of the best curries like porials, sambras, rasams, and tutus.
I was gonna say, like, if you ask me Indian food, and obviously I'm not very cultured, but I think curry first, maybe? I don't know if it's right or anything, but yes, spicy curry is what comes to mind.
And the East is known for having the best desserts like peda, mishti doi, rasgulla, or shondesh. Speaking of which, India is so diverse and complex that sometimes even Indian people need translators when going to different states. It's about to get 10 times more confusing in about 3, 2, 1.
Reminds me, yeah, someone told me, like, even like in small country it can be like that. Was it Indonesia is like that, I believe, where there's like such a crazy amount of dialects, like there's hundreds of dialects or something, that, you know, just drive 1 hour and you might be in a place where you don't understand someone talking. That is very interesting. So I guess when you're
Shashi Tudor once
so
said,
big
in
like
India, we
India,
celebrate the commonality of
it makes
major
sense.
differences. We are a land of belonging rather than blood. First of all, India has a population of about 1.3 billion people and is the second most populous country in the world after China, with about 18% of the world's population. About 72% of the country is Indo-Aryan and a quarter are Dravidian, and the majority of the remainder
Hello.
are Mongoloid,
Wait,
Asian, and other people groups. They also use the Indian rupee as their currency. They use the type C, D, and M plug outlets, and they drive on the left side of the road. By the way, technically, currency, they use the type C.
Wait, what's the difference? I think in France we use type D. Yeah. Like yeah. I mean, you can use type C obviously as well. But what's the difference between type D and M? They look the same. Interesting.
C, D, and M plug outlets, and they drive on the left side of the road. By the way, technically, it's
Then I would never drive in India. I don't think my brain could adjust.
illegal for these banknotes to leave the country, but you guys have sent me a lot of them for fan mail for Fan Friday videos, so I don't want to go to jail again. Now keep in mind, those statistics that I just mentioned are incredibly generalized. Of the
Sure.
Indo-Aryan and Dravidian communities, there are about 2,000 different ethno-linguistic people groups in India, with about 645 district indigenous tribes, 52 major ones. So obviously we can't cover them all, but what we do know is that the North is very different from the South. For one, the North mostly speaks in languages that are all related to the Indo-Aryan branch, with languages like Hindi, Bengali, Punjabi, and Gujarati, whereas the South speaks a completely unintelligible Dravidian branch, with languages like Tamil, Telugu.
I'm gonna seem very uneducated and stupid, but what does Aryan mean? Like all this time, you know, you always hear the word Aryan related to, World War II in Germany, right? So I always assume that Aryan was just a word, for like master race. But then it's used in this context, so I guess that's probably not what it means. Oh, hello, Balatia. Cow is considered to be sacred in Hindu tradition, and she's given motherly statue probably because of use of milk and dairy products. Fair enough. Okay.
Telugu, Malayalam,
Fair
and
enough.
Kannada.
Canada.
Otherwise, there's
Canada.
also pockets of Sino-Tibetan and Austroasiatic languages spoken in the far north and east.
Wait, so how do they all, like, communicate with each other?
Great question. Although India does not have an official language, there are 22 recognized national languages, and of these, 2 are the most
22.
prevalent, taught in schools, and used by government officials, Hindi and English.
Oh,
And very
yeah.
often, these two are like mixed mid-sentence. It's weird. Don't be surprised if you hear someone speaking Hindi and then suddenly finishing off in English. It's like,
It's not good to because versus. And I was like, but this, and I was like trying to why are you even trying to do that?
I know, right? And the washing machine, I told them, but I said, Bob Saget with
There's a bunch of countries that do that, yeah. There's some countries out there that are very like they mix a lot of English for some reason. It's pretty interesting to see. Yeah. It's pretty fun to listen to. Many Hindu gods and goddesses are depicted with animals, birds, and plants. That may be one of the reasons why some of them have such importance in culture. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I'm also thinking maybe like back in the day, it made a lot more sense to like keep milking a cow to keep getting resource rather than just kill it then it's done. You can't keep exploiting it. Maybe now these days, it would make more sense, right? Because there's so many cows and it's much easier to have cows. But I guess back then when things were more complicated, yeah, you don't want to kill your cow, like you want to keep using it, right? That makes sense. Economic.
the chainsaw. Now, of course, let's discuss the one thing that goes hand in hand with India, Hinduism. About
video.
80% of India claims to be Hindu, or at least part of the Hindu practicing community. Now, we don't have time to explain everything about the tenets and multi-layered philosophies and practices of Hinduism. If you want to know, just talk to a Hindu person. But basically, one thing you do need to know is that Hindu-driven ideologies pretty much dominate most of life in India, everything from
Fair
family
enough.
to business. You will see colorful, mesmerizing shrines, temples, statues, and rituals being performed everywhere, even in public. On the Bharat
I would say that I do really like the aesthetic, like all the statues, the art and everything. Most of what you see looks really cool.
Mata, the mother of India, statues are everywhere. She's like the symbol of India. The largest Hindu pilgrimage, the Kumbh Mela, happens every 3 years, rotating between 4 cities, in which the adherents bathe in the
Whoa.
Ganges River and enjoy a massive festival with tens of millions of people. Like, seriously, you can practically see it happening from space. Now, a controversial topic in relation to Hinduism would be the caste system, which is basically a belief that people
I
are
have heard
born
about
into
that,
a
yeah.
socioeconomic life that they are destined to serve into. Today, however, the system is more fluid and loose from what it used to be from a long time ago, and thanks to economic reforms, anybody with enough drive can kind of move up the social ladder regardless of birth. Nonetheless, India is home to every major religion in the world, even a few Jews, including the B'nai Menashe, an indigenous group that claimed to be one of the lost tribes of Israel. In fact, Judaism and Christianity actually had a head start in India.
I mean, it's one of those things where, again, as I always say, I don't really know much about India, and I've only heard like, headlines for news or stuff like that. But it does seem like, and I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, it does seem like India is pretty good at being like pretty tolerant of different religion. Like I don't feel like I usually hear anything too bad about different religion really fighting each other in India. But maybe I just haven't thought about it. I don't know. Trade of spices and textile was one of the major reasons why European countries wanted to explore sea route to India. That makes sense, yeah. Spices, they're pretty great. That makes sense.
India way before it even kicked off in Europe. As tradition holds, Cochin or Malabar Jews migrated around 1000 BC to trade during the times of King Solomon, and in 53 AD, Thomas the Apostle of Jesus arrived in what is now the state of Kerala to establish the first church in India. Today, most Christians are found in the southwest and far east Seven Sisters regions. India also holds the highest population of Sikhs, Jains, and Zoroastrians, mostly found in the north, and the second largest Muslim population in the world after Indonesia. Most Muslims are populated around the northwest areas by Pakistan or in the east by Bangladesh. Oh, and don't forget the Buddhists. In fact, Buddhism actually...
Wait, still the second largest Muslim population, even though he said 80% are Hindu? So that would mean like with only 10 or 15% it would be enough to be like second largest Muslim population?
started in India. Today, the Dalai Lama even takes refuge in Tezpur in the state of Assam. Oh, that was a lot of information. Okay, so by now you can probably get a grasp of how incredibly mixed and diversified India's population is, but what exactly holds the country together? Well, for one, you kind of have to understand Indian history, which will take way too long to explain, but in the quickest way I can put it, Indus Valley, Maurya and Gupta empires, Southern empires, Golden Age, Middle Kingdom.
Gupta empires, we watched a video once. If you guys want, you can find it probably on my extra channel. But yeah, we watched a video a little bit about the Gupta Empire. It was pretty interesting.
A ton of new religions come flocking in. The north fell to the Delhi Sultanate. The south became the Vijayanagara Empire. The Mughal Empire starts. British East India Company. Direct British rule. Nationalist movements. Independence. Republic. Economic liberalization in 1991. And here we are today.
That's a lot.
Essentially, India used to be made up of around 500 smaller royal princely states, and when the British came in, they kind of exploited them to manage such a huge population. Although India is a democratic federal republic and the largest democracy in the world, the old royal families still exist today, and although they have no political power, they hold high positions of influence in their communities across India. So today, technically, you could meet someone that would be considered an Indian prince or princess. Nonetheless, the biggest thing that really united Indians in the past 2 centuries would probably be their hatred of British rule. It was kind of like...
Understandable.
This is not cool.
Yep.
What do you say you and I work together and end this thing?
Essentially, one good thing you could say
Nothing better to unite a country than a common enemy. Classic.
that came out of imperialism was that it kind of stopped all the internal squabbling and unified the groups towards one common goal, to get rid of imperialism. Today, Indians are just proud to be Indian. I mean, a Tamil soccer player can get cheered on by a Rajasthani, a Punjabi pop star can sell out tickets in Orissa. Speaking of which, all Indians love movies and music. India has the second largest film industry in terms of...
I was just talking about it in my song reaction of today to an Indian movie song, which again is like, so far all of the Indian music songs I checked out were actually songs from movie, I guess. So it really proved that fact, yeah.
Volume, pumping out nearly 2,000 films per year. Surprisingly, Nigeria pumps out more. However, the box office revenues gross out at only about $2 billion annually compared to Hollywood at over $10 billion, but still, it's impressive. And keep in mind, it's not just Bollywood, but it's also Tollywood, Gollywood, Collywood, Pollywood, and so on. There's like 20 different woods in India. Oh, and like every movie in India has at least one scene where everybody breaks out in song, and there's almost always a happy ending. Unfortunately, mainstream media has also put an aesthetic strain on many of the people, as it's almost become an obsession to be light or fair-skinned, causing people to go so far as to buy skin bleaching products. Some other controversies include things like illiteracy being an issue in many parts of the country, especially in the rural areas. But I mean, come on, when your country has literally hundreds of different writing systems, go figure. I mean, give them a break. Also, many of you guys, the Indian geography peeps, have asked me to bring awareness to the fact that India does unfortunately have some of the highest rates of human trafficking and child slavery. The government is trying to crack down and culture is slowly being reformed, but for now, it's a sad reality that still does exist. Hey, here at GN, we talk about the good and the bad. I'm just saying.
I mean, as always, I guess it just makes sense. When the country is so massive and there's so many people, it means that, you know, like anything will be amplified because there's just so many people, right? So it just makes sense.
Otherwise, sports do definitely tie everyone together as well, especially cricket, the national sport, even though they also used to do really well in field hockey. I
know about that because I go on Reddit every day and I always like look at the popular posts of the day on like all of the subreddits. And there's always like in the top popular posts of the day, there's always cricket. Like India cricket or something is the subreddit. So every day I see some post about cricket and I've never watched cricket, so I have no idea what's going on, but every single day there's like some popular post about it. So that's why I know about cricket.
It also has a lot of their own indigenous sports like Dopkel in Assam, bull racing in Kerala, Insuknar, rod pushing in Mizoram, and Malakamba, this strange pole yoga gymnastics thing in the south. Otherwise, some notable people from India or of Indian descent might include people like Siddhartha Gautama or the Buddha, Mahavir, Ashoka the Great, Prithviraj Chauhan, Aurangzeb, Shivaji of the Maratha Empire, Mohandas or Mahatma Gandhi, Indira
of course,
Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, Rabindranath Tagore, C.V. Raman, Satyendra Nath Bose, Bhagat Singh, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh Bachchan, Amir Khan, Salman Khan, Priyana Chopra.
Wait, I feel like Amir Khan, I've heard the name before. Amir Khan. I need to know at least one person. Well, I know Gandhi, but that's it. Amir Khan, I've definitely heard the name, but I forget.
Abdul Kalam, Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh Bachchan, Amir Khan, Salman Khan, Priyana Chopra, Ben Kingsley, Sundar Pichai, Satya Narayana Nadella, A.R. Rahman, Sachin Tendulkar, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni. There's also literally millions of other famous people I missed out on.
Sure.
If you want to mention them, please,
Sure.
there's a comment section below. Use it. In the meantime, we got to finish this info marathon, shall we?
Okay.
Now, no surprise, India is huge and therefore has a huge
Oh, what's going on? Did the stream get it or something? What's going on, people in the chat? All right. I think I'm back. Well, rip. Yeah, this hadn't happened in a very long time. Heads up, we've detected videos in your stream belonging to someone else. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. If you plan to continue, please ensure that the content owner has added your channel to their alert list. So yeah, I guess we can't finish the video. Sorry, I guess this channel does not like people reacting to them, so yeah, sorry, I can't finish the video. I risk a copyright strike if I continue, I feel like. Arya is Indian word meaning noble person, and it got popularized in West after colonial rule. I see. Yeah, so sorry. I don't think I can finish this video. It's a shame. This was pretty interesting, and we were almost at the end, but yeah, if I continue, I risk getting a copyright strike. Man, this happened a long time ago. Like, last time it happened was like a year ago or something. There's a few big channels like that who just, I guess they must have some special rules with YouTube where they just don't like people reacting to them. Even though it feels kind of dumb, right? Like, this is such a big channel of like learning history and geography. So it'd be nice if people can react to their stuff, but I guess not. Anyway, we still watch most of the videos, so there's that. Good video. Good video. I'm really afraid I'm gonna get a copyright strike though. It's still possible. Last time this happened, I did get a copyright strike after the stream. So now I'm kind of afraid. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, either I need to delete the VOD the second I finish the stream, like delete it instantly, or the other option is to just wait and hope it's okay. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, we didn't quite finish the video, but still pretty interesting. I mean, I think what this shows is that I really don't know much about India. You know, massive country, but yeah, I don't really have much knowledge. Only recently has been getting into the music a little bit. I've never really watched any movies. I don't really know much about the celebrities. And as far as the history, yeah, I don't really know too much. So there's a lot to learn. But obviously there is like a lot to learn because it's so massive. So yeah, I'm interested though. Good video. Even though it might get me a strike. I really hope not. I really hope not. The last time, basically, like, the channel has been kind of like doing bad for like a year because like a year ago I did a stream like this, right? Random video stream. And we were watching like a science video, which was, I think, about it was about like some kind of science experiment. And it was also from one of those big educational channel. And same thing happened. Like, this happened like this. And then later when I ended the stream, I got a community guideline strike and a copyright strike. So the copyright strike was fine. You can deal with those, but the community guideline one basically is something that never goes away. I appealed, but it doesn't go away. And what it does is, a lot of channels have reported that when you get a community guideline strike, it kind of like makes it that YouTube doesn't want to recommend your channel anymore. So that's why all of my views for everything has been going down for like a year, because my channel is kind of like shadow banned, I guess. And I've seen other reaction channel have the same thing happen. So I guess maybe I don't need to be scared. I already got one, so maybe it's fine. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. They formed theory of Aryan invasion to make Indians believe that everything comes out of West to India. They civilized the world, etc. Hitler used to believe this theory that Aryan race is supreme. Yeah, that was his thing. I see. So the world comes from India. I didn't know. Very interesting.